All right, alien disclosure in the new church and the new world lining up before you, as they're telling you that the aliens have been here. We've been using the alien technology wrong. We got the ultra processed foods, and people are putting this thing inside of them that can't come out. And so as the Jesus comes to the churches don't recognize the Jesus, just like we're told, and he tells them that the synagogue of Satan, which is where they're at, is the children of hell, and this is where they're going back and worshiping that moon god, the sin god. And they can't, since the sin god reflects the light of the sun, then they aren't seeing the true light of the true God in a way, okay? And this is where Satan and Jesus and these things come as the sons of God, or with the sons of God, and God is us and our, male and female, the animals, all these things are made after he and them. So there's a plurality, that the sons of God are stealing the inheritance and saying, no, it's only Jesus, it's only Muhammad and whatever else. And then a lot of these religions recognize Jesus. So this is where the Christian church, the Christian nation, America, or whatever, that stealing of the inheritance, where we can worship God however we see fit, okay? And this is where that fornication of Babylon is being lifted up, where you have Muslims saying, well, it's 8 years old, and you have Christians saying, well, it's 21 years old, or whatever the hell age they're going up to now, okay? So but you have 6-year-old men with 20-year-old women, so that's a type of pedo action too. This is when the hippos and those savanna grasslands and that denial starts coming, all right? And those alligators are here to help you get your feet bit for that little Yeshua. Either way, the aliens and the stuff that's been upon us and coming in and out of it, and the rise in consciousness and these things that's been going on, this is where the so-called Jesus has been born of that virgin birth, and that man-child comes, and all these things that we're being told in a flip-flop pattern as a new one-world religion is setting up. Christianity is a one-world religion. Muslim is a one-world religion. Your Walmart, your McDonald's, your Coca-Cola, all that is a type of one world religion, and those are the dark lights that's coming and being exposed to y'all, and all those other things in the coming future. But either way, the aliens and the church calling them demons and all that stuff, that's exactly what we read in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, okay? And so either way, the Christian church and all these religions or whatever that are all divided, they come as the sons of God. They are not the true light. They are a reflection of the light, okay? So this is where it's telling you that there's God is light. He's setting up one rule and structure, and you have the Lord God coming in, setting up another rule and structure. One, man is made after everything. The other, man is made before everything. This type of negative, positive, light, dark applications. This is all going on right now in your own world. And as the earth turns and we push out a new religion, or a new heaven and earth, the new heaven and earth is part of this new religion coming and saying that this, that, and the other for your so-called salvation that is already within you. We don't need to seek salvation. We don't need to pray. We don't need to ask. We need to follow the words of Jesus, because he said, in that day you do not pray and you do not ask. But what are all the Christians supposedly doing today? They're asking and they're praying, because they don't understand the light of God that is within all men, because they steal the inheritance from them, okay? So this is where the aliens, it's within all men. They've already taken over the earth, okay? So this is where your dark sun, your so-called Satan, your aliens, all that stuff is coming to control you for your beast system, to teach you and guide you into the next earth, okay? Because you have no clue you don't even know your own children these days. And you're all on these SSRIs, you're don't get me started. It's just a real big clusterfuck, okay? And y'all don't even know y'all are taking it in the ass, even when they're sticking their fucking fingers in you, okay? Just because you turn 45 or 50 or whatever level of consciousness for that Christ on the cross, all right? Either way, the dark sun, the anus, the noose, the slavery, all that shit's coming for you, all right? And the aliens, the lion, the tribe of Judah, the devil, all those things are before you. And your God of Israel, Egyptians, all that stuff, it's all here now before you. Israel is Isis, Ra, El, the gods of Egypt. And that's why your DC is the way it is and all these things, okay? So it's so simple. Few of you are going to find it, because the truth, which is controlled by Satan, has been taken from you, and you have been blinded and deafened to call God or whatever the devils or demons, and you're basically just self-projecting your own inadequacies, and you are the ones possessed, and that's why you own all this bullshit in your house, and all these little trinkets control you, and you are in a codependent nation, and your happiness does not come from within, but it comes from out there. And that's part of your church too, for your narcissism, Nazism, and whatever else is going on for the Jesus of the Nazareths, all right, the Nazius. Either way, we're on a little bit of a different level here, folks, but the so-called Christian church, the Muslim church, the Jew church, whatever, just let them go to the little holy war over the little storybooks, and let them go into the little bondage, because eventually the Christians are probably going to need the little coverings or whatever, because they're going to have their nose rotting off and become Skeletor, or they're going to get those big bang areas like Tyra Banks. The Tyra is for those floodwaters and shit. So the alien infection, the infection is actually already set up, and they're telling you that Wuhan virus has that month and a half symbiotics or whatever. We saw this baby being born and insemination with the Artemis 2 mission. We're in those doctor checkups and those types of things. So this is that venom, symbiotics, and those types of things where it's already there. They're telling you, and it's part of that incubation, incubation for the 35 days on the eggs. And Trump just mentioned the hatching, and this is part of that clutch and whatever else. But those baby hand-fed birds, I got experience with hand-feeding birds, but put that little thing on the right side. You should do it on the left side of the choke or whatever, but it's all tied to the neck. Just put that little tube in there, right? And if you just do it real fast, they don't. It's really nice and clean. But either way, yeah, we're in there. So we got the little incubator, we got that masturbator, we got that debater, we got those fishers of men, and all those things stacking up. Okay, so if y'all are in that Christian church and y'all are calling aliens demons and whatever else, y'all are literally just parrots. And this thing about where the kids are taught to fear snakes and all these things, this stuff where the Muslims say 8 years old, the Christians or America says this year's old, 16, whatever, Thailand says 13, whatever ages are going on, okay? This is where you're being taught that snake. You're being taught to fear this, that, and the other. And there's actually a system of animalism, of bestiality and man, as far as when we come into a breeding age. And when our nature, America, likes to fight the breeding age, okay, and the slave aspect and work and all that. The Muslim, whatever, wants to fight the breeding age as far as bringing them in too early and those types of things. So this is where they're bringing them in to make them go into full-blown submission from an early age, but then the church is teaching in a spiritual context that the women just need to be raped by their husbands every night and be a sex toy and whatever else anytime that they're available or whatever kind of thing. So and then the Christian church, they teach them they can't speak, but the Muslims, they just cover up their mouth. So we're all going into these little things where your so-called synagogue of Satan's come from, where you're so-called seeking that salvation. All right. And these different levels of heaven and whatever else, where you get all these virgins and all this shit, right? That would be stacking up into your new heaven and earth with your DNA and whatever. But y'all all cut your nuts off. You ain't producing sperm. And then think about it on another level with the mothership and the semen and all this stuff. The natural speaking on the beast system is where you have the dreams, and the dreams connect you to the wet dreams. And as a man, every 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, whatever, depending on your age, okay, you empty the bucket, all right, whether you want to or not. And so this is also going against y'all's bullshit where you gotta hold up your semen or avoid sex, sell it to the sea and all this stuff. That's part of the buy and sell or whatever else too, but it's all garbage. Okay, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Those keep you looking good. That's what you're doing when you're out there in the 20s, breeding and having some fun or whatever. But they've taken all your fun because they tell you you're living in sin. You can't go out there and be single. So you're all just the children of sin, children of hell. You do everything as a selfish preservation act. Well, I don't want to go to hell, so I'm going to do this, that, and the other, even though Jesus says all the sins are washed away. God bless America. It's just full-blown retard circular logic that's going on. Either way, dude. This is where the Adam, and they will surely die on one level, and then they didn't die, and their eyes were open, and they go out and they create a new heaven and earth, the land of Nod. Oh yeah, I got it. Or you're gonna go to the Orwellian and probably be like, what do you weigh, like 400 pounds? It's gonna be that Six Flags over, y'all remember Six Flags Over Texas? How much do you weigh? Do they even still play that game? Is that even like allowed? Because I mean, this could be like gastronomical prices, the gastro. What can be happening is your pumps, pay at the pumps and all this shit. At some point, some of those may go to the old crypto payment system or whatever kind of thing. Either way, that's a whole nother rabbit trail. We'll end here on this new religion of the aliens, the tribe of Judah, the devil, the lion, all those things coming as your Jesus. He went down to hell, conquered the hell. All the demons work for him. So why y'all so scared of the demons? You got all these other possessions in your life controlling you, but you don't understand the possession out there of that amen, that cult that tells you you can't do this, that, and the other on the weekends, that you just have no fucking life. Well, enjoy yourselves.